Hello and welcome to the Dragon Den. I'm KingofDragons 5000 and today I have another action figure review. Today I'll be taking a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine. Getting Wolverine out of the box, I'm very impressed by what Hasbro's done with this Wolverine figure. After countless movies and so many years, we finally get a Wolverine in his yellow costume. And there's a lot of nice details to go over, as well as plenty of accessories. Having a look at his accessories, Wolverine does come with a masked head and an unmasked head, as well as a pair of hands with his claws, a fist for his right hand, and a trigger finger for his left hand. As we have a look at Wolverine's details, it is a very impressive figure both in terms of sculpt and detail. It's quite impressive the level of detail that they put into this Wolverine. As we take a look at the unmasked head, it has a very strong likeness to Hugh Jackman. It's the best representation of Hugh Jackman that we've got in action figure form, and Hasbro has nailed the likeness from his scruffy looking facial hair all the way to the Wolverine styled hair. As we have a look at his mask, Hasbro has done an excellent job with Wolverine's mask. The texturing is done exceptionally well here on the yellow parts of his mask, and I do like the fact that the black part is a separate piece. And they did a really good job making it appear that Hugh Jackman was actually underneath the Wolverine mask. As we have a look at Wolverine's costume, it's very apparent that it's modeled after the astonishing Wolverine costume. Throughout the costume we have this very impressive texture, which is done very nicely, especially by Hasbro standards. The texturing is done very nicely, and I like the fact we do have some panel lining in the front. On the side of his costume it is done in blue paint, which is done very well, and there is some parts of black paint as well. And the stripes painted on his shoulders are very good, done in that same blue paint. Wolverine actually does have some black shoulder caps, which are done very nicely to hide the gapping in his arms. On his shoulders he is wearing his blue shoulder pads, which look really good. They do have this smooth texturing and some panel lining. And the rest of his arm carries over that impressive texturing that we see throughout his costume, and the inside of his arm is actually painted in blue. As we get to the gloves, they are done in a separate piece, which also have that smooth texture to them. They do have some impressive detailing both in terms of paint and sculpted work, as we do have some black paint and yellow paint here. And his gloves are going to be mostly blue in that same texture that we see throughout his costume. And on the back of his hands you can see his claw emitters, where his claws come out of his fists. Wolverine is wearing a belt which is done in yellow plastic, and I do like the fact that it is painted. However, on mine the paint did miss a lot of the sculpted parts, so it does look a little bit messy. As we look at the rest of his legs, you can see that it carries over that impressive texturing, and I like the fact that the blue paint does come down to his legs as well. We have some impressive line work here done on his legs, and it even looks like he does have pockets on the back of his costume. As we have a look at the knee pads, you can see they are segmented, and they do look good here. He has his black band painted along his calf, and we do have his blue boots, which have some really nice line work. The straps are painted in black, and it does appear that there are some buckles in the front of his boot. And I like how much texturing is here on his boots, where we do have some texture detail as well as some smooth parts. So overall, Wolverine is going to have some great detailing here, and I love the amount of sculpted detail that Hasbro put into him. One thing I gotta say is that this figure does feel a little bit clean, as Wolverine's costume was very dirty in the movie. But even though it's a clean version of his costume, it's still done very well. With his paint and detail out of the way, let's compare Wolverine to our usual suspects. As you would imagine, being part of the Marvel Legends line, Wolverine is actually going to scale nicely to the rest of your Marvel Legends. And he is going to look great alongside the other members of the MCU shelf, as his costume fits in perfectly here. And comparing him to the two Deadpool figures we've had a look at, you can see that he scales perfectly here. Having a look at his articulation, Wolverine does have a double ball joint in the head, ball sockets in his shoulders, arms hinge out to the side and do a full 360. He has a swivel in the bicep and a double hinge in the elbow, a hinge and swivel at his wrist. Wolverine does have an ab crunch as well as a waist swivel. His legs will kick forward, go back, out to the side, and have a thigh swivel. He will have a double bend in the knee, a hinge in the ankle, and forward-facing pin for rocker ankle. Deadpool and Wolverine was one of my favorite movies that I've seen all year, and I was very excited when Hasbro announced action figures from that movie. It's been a long time coming seeing Wolverine in a yellow costume on the big screen, and it's finally time we have an action figure in hand. Even though the costume does feel very modern, I still like the aesthetic that it brings, as it captures the look of the astonishing Wolverine perfectly. I like the fact that they were able to simulate the stripes on the sides of his costume with the blue and black paint. They even gave us the best likeness to Hugh Jackman that we've seen in any action figure, and it's really good, and it makes it hard on how I want to display my Wolverine. Unfortunately, Wolverine is very lacking in accessories, as he only comes with 2 pairs of hands, and they're not even matching pairs at that. Although Wolverine didn't wear the mask when he had the sleeves on his costume, it's still really good to see a full costume Wolverine. And this figure does feel very clean, as Wolverine's costume was very dirty in the movie, but it's nothing a little customizing can't fix. I'm perfectly okay with his costume being this pristine, as we've never gotten a Wolverine in the yellow costume until now. And because Wolverine is such a popular character, this figure is very hard to come by, as I never found it in stores. I did have to order my Wolverine from Big Bad Toy Store, where it did run me about $22. This Wolverine is going to be the perfect addition to any MCU display, or if you just want a really awesome Wolverine figure in your collection, this figure will fill that itch. And of course, he is going to look perfect posed next to his co-star Deadpool. Thank you for taking the time out of your day and watching another video here on the Dragon Den. But before you go, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and check out the rest of my Marvel Legend videos. If you're in a position to help out the Dragon Den, check out my Patreon, where I have some exclusive content and early access videos. Check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, videos, recent pickups, latest prints, and as always, ring that bell so you never miss another video. And until next time, my loyal Dragonites coming from the Dragon Den, I'm King of Dragons 5000, reminding you to redesign, rebuild, and reclaim. I'll see you next time.